Well, old and crackadated here. Uh, it got real cold the other day, so I decided to fire up the cast iron stove in the gazebo and make a little video of me cooking some biscuits in a different method this time. They turned out pretty good. I'm going to get that down perfected and be able to cook them without burning the bottom of them. But they turned out good, which I like char anyway on a lot of stuff. And I got in 3 guitars the other day, so I'll be doing a video on them. But let me show you what. Now the guitar has got black trim around the humbuckers, so I got some nice little trim. Of course, I'm going to put that around the single pickup on it. Anyway, tried to keep that video short, but and what I talk about is just general stuff about the puppies and how I miss Ladybug, and of course I show you the biscuits and make some coffee, and then I talk about song copyrights and some of the changes I think need to be made in the laws of copyright law here in the U.S. That waiting 70 years after the death of the writer that's a long time. So much music dies in the meantime because nobody uses it. Well, old and crackadated. If it can, it will, and let's get into the video. Come here, little baby. Come on, get back in this shed here. Well, thought I'd do some coffee and biscuits out here this morning. Look at there, look at there. Works pretty good in this pan. Got a new baking pan. Ooh. But I'm a little disorganized this morning. Just a little bit brown on the bottom, but I'll put it back on the stove for a few minutes. And we will brown the other side of it. I tell you, that stove got hot this morning. The other day it wouldn't get hot at all, but I think this rain, the difference in the air pressure with the rain, it's really radiating heat this morning. Of course, it's pretty cool this morning too. And I thought I'd take advantage of the rain on the roof. We'll give them a few minutes to cook on top. Well, let's see, I've got 2, 3, 4. I got 4 puppies here. Got one that's got big old feet. He's fat as a little pig, and I named him Bear. And then the little puppy I named Ben. And I think Ben is around with his mama right now. He was the first one that met me at the door this morning. Little Ben. And it's going to be hard coming up with names for the rest of them. Oh. The male that ran off the first time way down the road, it decided it was going to take a trip all by itself and go back down there to those people's house. And he said, I heard something whining, went to the door, and that little puppy was up against the door whining. So he brought him in and fed him and watered him, and he called me that afternoon. I'd been looking for him all morning. And it's a quarter mile or better down the road to his house. But he was determined he was going to find him a place to live. So he said, would you really mind if I kept him? I thought, it's fine with me. He's found himself a home. He's determined to go down there and that be his home. So, yeah, that's his home. And this one right here has to chew on my leg all the time. Got to chew on my pants leg. Yeah, buddy. Keep them very long. It's going to be hard to part with any more of them. Yeah, it's been raining pretty hard, and it's nice and dry in here with that 2 tarps up on the side. It's the main side the wind blows from. I gotta put my water back up here. Whew. Oh, it's still hot. The radiating heat from this stove is about to burn my knee. And before I couldn't get it that hot. But I've got the ashes sort of banked up at an angle toward the back. That way I can lay the firewood in and it's at an angle. And that way it burns on top and staying pretty hot. Well, let's see what kind of job I've got on my biscuit tops. Oh yeah. How's that? They're a little black on the bottom, but of course if you watch my videos, you know I like a little char with my food. Yep, think they're done. Whew. That's hot, hot, hot. And of course I started my pan with gobs and gobs of butter. Let me get turned around here facing the camera so I won't be rude. And let's do a little focus here. Let me cut this off. Ah! Well, what to do with my What do I do with my hot pad? Oh, there it is. Set it on that box there. Well, I think I'm gonna need that under that pan. Oh yeah. That. Yes, that's good. Well, little socks and Mitty never did come back, so with them being gone that long, I'm sure they're dead. That's a shame. I love that little socks and Mitty. But I got little Tommy in the house, and those little kittens, they are the tiniest little things. And one looks exactly like Tommy. The other one looks like Mitty. I don't remember them being that small at that age. But they're, I don't know, they're 5 weeks old maybe. But I don't think they could whip a mouse. The mouse would outweigh them by double. Still having a hard time with Ladybug being gone and all the other changes I've had to make. I got to get in touch with my hay hauler and see if he got to the hay bale. I don't want to miss it. But I've been so just totally confused. Boy, I tell you what, butter down a pan real good before you put your biscuits in, and that's all the flavor you need. And biscuits cooked like this in a pan, I like the texture of them. Although I think I need to just use one of those little wire springs that hold the pan about a 1/4 inch off the stove. And that baking them in that pan worked out good. First time using that pan, I bought that pan for an oven system that consists of a big stainless steel pot with a lid on it. I saw another YouTuber that built one that way, and the thing cooked real good. And that pan, you just slide it in there and it sets up off of the bottom. And you set that pot sideways on a fire. That's a good oven. I might cut a hole in the lid and put a glass window in it so I can see the inside of it. And then make me some hinges for the door on it. That way way you can set a pot like that straight down on the coals, and it's easy to clean up. But I like the way these cook there. All I'd planned to do was come out here and make coffee, do a little chit chat. And of course, making that Memorial Day video. That literally drained me emotionally. That was only 6 people I lost in Vietnam, not counting all the others. Some I only knew them by nickname. Never knew their real name. And of course, my platoon medic died with cancer a few years back. I was able to see him at the 90th or 50th anniversary of the Airborne. He was in the National Guard unit that repaired armored personnel carriers in Troy, Michigan. But I was able to see him and first platoon's medic, one that took care of Mike when he was wounded. Well, time to pour me another cup of coffee. I hadn't decided whether I want to toss a music video on the end of this or not. Day before yesterday, I got 3 guitars in within 2 hours of each other. 2 of them came on the same truck. And of course, with my music playing, I don't know if I'm ever going to get any better. Still have a hard time controlling the hands and the movement of my arms up and down the neck. And when I think of how fast I used to be able to play and just hear somebody playing something and jump right in and play the song. But I think that whatever was in that water did a lot more damage than just the nerves in the hands and arms. I think it did some brain damage too. My note memory, I can play something then totally forget it and not be able to play the same thing again. start playing one song and end up on another one before I'm through a couple of lines of it. Yeah, I'd say I'm probably pretty lucky that that stuff didn't kill me. Oh, it feels so good out here. It's nice and cool. It was plumb cold 2 hours ago. I wish all the puppies had come around here so I could get them on film. I'll get them out here later when I feed them the afternoon feeding and get them on film then. Pour a little of this Taster's Nasty in here. On the outdoor gear review says Taster's Nasty. Even though it's the best instant coffee that I've found. Pour me another cup of coffee, for it's the finest in the land. It wouldn't be great to get a copyright strike for just one line of that song. I tell you, they're hitting some YouTubers up pretty hard. Their channels have basically disappeared off the platform. I don't see how some get away with doing it all the time, but they've got heavy viewer following, and that has a lot to do with it. Because if they're getting paid enough for their videos, then they'll pay royalties. I really think it ought to be set up like a flat fee for just being able to put one on a video for the company that owns the copyright for the music. And then if you get a lot of views, then they share that revenue of the more views if you're making money off of it. It should just be a standardized thing that way people will make more out of their music. If you expose it to more people, let more people use it, but give them a pay system that they can pay into. On an initial video, just a flat fee. If it's $5 to use a song, fine. And then if it gets 1 million hits, then pay them accordingly. The technology's there to be able to do all that stuff, so why don't those that have got the authority and ability with that stuff to do something like that, get it set up where it makes it easier. You just, like whatever platform you're on, could set up the way for you to pay them, and then if you get a lot of hits on whatever you did, if I had written a song, I wouldn't care how many million people recorded it. If they're going to pay me a few cents on it, because you don't get paid huge royalties on a song. It's just consistent royalties. Sometimes it takes years to accumulate enough to actually be worth collecting on it. But what happened, the big record companies bought up all the songs and then controlled everything, and they've actually destroyed their own market. So it's time to do something different. We live in a different age, so do something different for the age. It's no longer analog on a tape. Everything's digital now, although I love the old analog music. That's what I was brought up on. Those big wide tapes, that wide in the studio. And if you made a mistake, you could end up erasing everything you'd done for a week. Of course, I guess that's true digital. Watching a YouTuber I watch all the time, that van life, and she went to upload her or edit her videos and was transferring it from the camera to her hard drive and lost that whole piece of video that they really struggled to get that video because they had to go up to a monastery. But those things happen, and I've lost some critical video that I've just had to piece stuff together I didn't really want to put together with, and I'm still having problems with that power director. I should have never uploaded the upgrade on it. The original was so easy to use, but the upgrade is a nightmare. I think it was geared more toward gamers, and I'm not a gamer. If I'm in a shooting arcade, it's gonna be for real. That Call of Duty. My son, a bunch of his Army buddies were, they started that game, and it went to a jungle scene, and I just had to get up. I got sick at my stomach. My head started spinning because it looked so much like some places I had seen. So yeah, I don't do those kind of things. Well, old and crackadated, if it can, it will. And I've got the sweetest little puppies laying here. And what used to be a tarp laying down there, is now shredded. Ain't they sweet? There's one back behind the rocks there.